Good afternoon, Namibia, and welcome to this Friday edition of NMH at 1. I am your host, Priska Agnolo, and thank you so much for joining us today. Jumping straight into our first video news segment, President Hage Geingob yesterday launched the second phase of the Harambee Prosperity Plan at State House. Okhone Tlage was there.
This report. And therefore it is now my great honor and privilege to launch this Harambee Prosperity Plan to 2021 to 2025 officially.
In our second video, Keetmanshoop Junior Secondary School offers a soup kitchen every day. Elizabeth Joseph was there to see how they operate.
Goeiemôre, ek is juffrou Diergaard. Ek is die life skills onderwyser by Keetmanshoop Secondary School. Ons het 'n sopkombuis aan die gang van 2019 af. Kom dit nou al 'n tydjie aan, ja. Ons gee min of meer so 30 kinders per dag kos. Dit inkludeer nou die leerlinge van graad 8 tot graad 11. En die rede hoekom ons elke dag gee is mos nou oor hierdie alternating days. Een dag is die een groepie hier, die ander dag is die ander groepie hier. So ons doen dit maar nou so om almal te akkommodeer. Ons sukkel maar bietjie om dinge aan die gang te hou, maar ons probeer hard. Die skool gee 'n donasie vir die sopkombuis, maar ons kan nie net daarop staat maak nie. Daarom vra ons gewoonlik so by community members en dan die winkels hier rond vra ons op die donasies en so aan. Hier en daar kry ons, maar dis 'n gesukkel. En as daar iemand is, miskien na buite wat ons kan help, sal ons dit baie waardeer. Ja, ons doen dit vir die kinders op die einde van die dag, 'n Namibian child.
Okay, kan jy vir my net vir ons sê waar kan hulle vir u kontak as hulle wil 'n donasie doen?
Vir enige donasies of sponsorships kan ek gekontak word, juffrou Diergaard, by 081 204 9537 of die skool kan gekontak word by 063 224 005.
Domestic workers remain some of the most exploited and underpaid employees in a post-independent Namibia, who are often seen as cheap and easily replaceable laborers. Jana Marie Smith takes a look at the situation.
Die mense vir wie ons werk, ewen 'n hond, 'n dog word ook beter behandel.
It's tough. You have to be very strong. Domestic workers are very strong women.
Hulle plaas hulle se kinders en hulle se troeteldiere meer as at ons. En ons kom in hulle se huise in terwyl hulle lê en slaap. Ons gaan maak hulle eintlik wakker. Soos ons daai kloppies daar druk by hulle se hekke, dan eers raak hulle wakker. Maar praat van jy wat jou kinders hier in die donkerte gelos het by jou huis en vir hulle gehardloop het, laat jy ten minste op tyd by hulle se werke kan wees, laat jy nie jou werk kan verloor nie. Dis die bang, jy is bang om jou werk te verloor, dis hoekom ons maar altyd stil bly. Al weet ons, jy mag nie werk sonder dat jy geregistreer is nie. Dit weet ons ook, maar jy is net bang, jy verloor jou werk. Die Social Security gepraat het sy vir my gesê, hulle het vir my meer betaal, so ek kan spaar, en van daar af vir my eendag as ek gaan swanger raak, vir my gaan uitbetaal. Hulle verstaan, as hulle December maand vacation vat, dan word jy nou afgegee vir 'n week of 2 wat hulle nie daar is nie. As ek net 2 weke in December werk voor hulle moet gaan, dan word ek net tot die tyd betaal. Ek het met 'n tuinwerker gewerk en toe hy nou vra, kry hy nie volle maand se salaris December maand nie, want hy was baie ongelukkig vir net vir daai 2 weke se salaris. En toe is hy gesê, nee, jy praat baie en jy vra baie, so jy kan maar bly, want daar's baie mense wat werk soek. Toe het hulle iemand anders gekry. En sommige tyd word jy mos nou ook gesê, as jy wil praat, as jy baie praat, dan is daar baie mense wat werk soek. Want hulle is mos nou die basse, en jy moet mos nou luister as jou bas praat. Ek verstaan huiswerkers ook 'n werk, net soos die ander werke. Die goeie wat ek wil sien vir huiswerkers. Die law self moet tog terugsit en bietjie kyk of hulle miskien nie weer kan instaan vir huiswerkers. Ek meen om te kyk of alles goed afloop vir ons. Nie net alleenlik besluite neem on behalf of ons die domestic workers. Ons vra nou nie die medical aid en die housing allowance en al daai goed nie. Die enigste benefit wat ons kry as huiswerkers is die Social Security, maar nogtans word ons ook van dit af weggeneem.
The biggest challenge might be the low salary that they are receiving, the low wage quota. They cannot maintain anything with that money. Looking at today's scenario, most of the domestic workers are still in informal settlement. The majority of them. The fact is, the wage cannot cover everything. Previously, we were disadvantaged. Currently, things have been changed, and it's not that the Labour Act is covering all the needs of domestic workers. But there is part which is there where we have been covered actually. Sick leave, annual leave, compassionate leave, maternity leave, social security registration. For me, I feel like they are very much ignorance. You cannot come in the country of you are part of the country, you are a Namibian citizenship. You are telling me that you doesn't know the implementation and the laws of this country. And then not to recognize the person's value as well. It's part of it. She's a domestic worker, she's not even educated, and then you start threatening this person to say, no, if you step out of my house now, tomorrow I can find someone else. It is a mentality that you put in yourself. And then they have to take it out. A domestic worker is a worker like other workers. And this is something that we have to take it very seriously.
On Fridays, our COVID-19 monitor summarizes daily averages for Namibia. By Wednesday, the country reported an average of 150 cases per day, compared to 166 a week before, so the overall downward trend is continuing. Over the latest 7 days, 1,053 new cases were reported. A week ago, this number was 1,165. The reporting of 33 new fatalities attributed to the virus over the same period, and this drives home the message that caution is still required at the highest level. Data for the 35 health districts in the country show a mixed picture. 15 districts are reporting 5 or more cases per day, compared to 13 in the same category a week ago. Daily averages for Inana and Okongo declined below this threshold, but Sandi in the Musati region, Katima Mulilo, Swakopmund, Lüderitz and Rehoboth moved back onto the map. In Windhoek, cases declined from 37 to 27 per day, while the district of Tsandi, with 13, is recording the second highest average in the country. Walvis Bay's average increased to 10 cases per day, and Rundu is reporting the same number, down from 16 a week ago. Parts of Oshodanjupa show a decline in cases, but numbers are up in Tsumeb and Grootfontein. Please do celebrate our 31st year of freedom safely this weekend. Moving on to the front pages of our Namibian dailies. Namibian Sun reports that President Hage Geingob has questioned why there is resistance to the new Equitable Economic Empowerment Framework, also known as NEEEF. The bill forms part of the recently launched second phase of the Harambee Prosperity Plan and is currently in its final rounds of consultation. Why are people fighting against NEEEF? Why don't you give us an alternative? He asked. Republican reports that Namibia is currently suffering from a second plague of destructive red locusts, and international pesticide suppliers have run out of stock. The swarms of migratory locusts occur in the northern, central and eastern parts of the country and are now moving south, Agriculture Minister Carla Schlettwein said. Because several African countries are currently experiencing locust plagues, European suppliers of the pesticide have informed Namibia that they will only have stock in 6 months. Allgemeine Zeitung reports that reactions to Recon Africa's search for gas and oil in the Kavango region are mixed, with some residents against the project and others desperate for the employment opportunities it may bring. Andreas Mawano, whose homestead was partly claimed by Recon Africa to put up a drill rig at Kawe, said he was not told that he would be affected by the development. My land was simply taken, he said. The Namibian reports that interest on government borrowing is expected to reach a massive 8.5 billion Namibian dollars in the current fiscal year, making it the second biggest state expense. The interest bill is included in the 13.1 billion Namibian dollar allocation to the Finance Ministry. The country's total debt stands at 140 billion Namibian dollars. New Era reports that a Good Samaritan from the Omusati region has taken it upon herself to feed some of the Angolan nationals who have fled to Namibia in recent weeks. Penny Ambeko Joseph, who cooks and sells food along the road to generate an income, has offered them soup, but says because she too is struggling to make ends meet, she doesn't always have something to give the refugees.
Namibia, land of the brave, finding strength in challenging times, united for independence, united for freedom, united for a better Namibia. Together we have grown to become a democratic nation, resilient and resourceful, Namibians helping Namibians. During a global pandemic, we are put to the test, but Namibians prevail in unity and compassion to take care of our health, the health of the nation, for continued independence, continued freedom, continued democracy. The struggle is not over, but Namibians get stronger. The power of solidarity running in our veins. To be Namibian means to remain positive, to remain hopeful, to remain the land of the brave.
And moving on to the inside pages of the country's dailies. Namibian Sun reports that the husband of an accountant who allegedly defrauded mining company Luco of 11 million Namibian dollars by doctoring invoices is now also implicated in the matter. Beauty Haimbili appeared in court on the 18th of counts of fraud, alternatively theft, as well as 18 counts of money laundering, forgery and uttering. Her husband, Yalmari Haimbili, appeared before Magistrate Vicky Nicolaides on Wednesday and was granted bail of 60,000 Namibian dollars. Republican reports that a 10-year-old boy living with disabilities, whose father reached out to the newspaper for help, is doing very well. Shaidi Nsamba was born with deformed arms and legs, and his biggest wish was to be able to go to school so that he could learn like other children his age. Since the initial report at the end of January, he has been enrolled at the Side-by-Side Early Intervention Center and is currently in grade 1. The Allgemeine Zeitung reports that shacks belonging to Nalitungwe and Haidino Hishongwa on the outskirts of Windhoek were recently inspected to see whether they obtained open defecation-free or ODF status. In many informal settlements across the country, due to a lack of sanitation, residents are forced to use open spaces such as riverbeds and other remote locations as toilets in what is known as open defecation. To be declared ODF, all households must have access to a clean toilet as well as an associated hand-washing facility. Further requirements are an environment that is free of human feces and waste and a regulated sewage system. The Namibian reports that a 25-year-old woman from Oikongo village near Ongwediva, who was allegedly shot by a police officer in 2018, has been left paralyzed and wants compensation. Since the shooting, Petrina Erastus has been in hospital and has to make use of a wheelchair to move around. She said she was shot by the police officer after armed robbers had broken into her room. New Era reports that President Hage Geingob has paid a glowing tribute to late Tanzanian President John Magufuli, describing him as having been a true servant of the people. Magufuli died on Wednesday in a Dar es Salaam hospital at the age of 61. The people of Tanzania and Africa as a whole have lost a distinguished statesman and visionary who, during his life, exemplified the ethos of discipline and hard work, Geingob said.
Ain't nothing but a party going on in here.
All right, Namibia, that is it for today. We would like to wish our beautiful nation a very happy 31st Independence for Sunday. Do enjoy the weekend and please stay safe, both on the roads and elsewhere. And also stay tuned for the weather as well.